Good afternoon. Thank you for joining the Neustar AdAdvisor overview presented with Lotame. I'm happy to announce myself. This is Star Bogenschutz. I'm the Senior Data Operations Analyst, and I'm happy to present Michael Greenberg, who is the Senior Account Executive for Neustar, and Lauren Gilray, who is the Senior Digital Strategy Manager. They'll be going over some offerings and some information about their company of what Neustar has to offer in the Lotame platform and how you can use this data to the best for your campaigns and advertising. So I now at this point will pass it over to Michael to start our presentation.
All right, thanks so much, Star, and great to talk to everyone on the phone, and we're excited to go through Neustar's offerings in the digital space and how they can benefit your media buys via Lotame. So with that, I'll get started. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the QA box, and we'll address them at the end of the presentation. So first, for an agenda, I'll discuss the Neustar and Lotame partnership. So we've been longstanding partners since 2010. We will review the Neustar identity and methodology, so where we get our data from, our Neustar AdAdvisor audience data and categories, which spans many verticals, and then we'll go into our audience planner demonstration. So this is a web-based tool where you can log in and see what 16,000 plus offline behavioral audiences that Neustar has to offer. All right, so Neustar and Lotame have been partners since 2010. So a long-standing partnership, great partners of ours, and we've been excited recently to get more data assets into the Lotame DMP. So we do have a ton of unique offline data assets across various verticals. So this really spans 16,000 plus offline behavioral audiences that you can target. We have roughly 2,500 audiences at the brand and product level. And most recently, which we're very excited about, all of our data capabilities have been expanded into the mobile world, which we'll show you a few screenshots of. And we've also added about a couple hundred B2B audiences for B2B targeting needs. So Neustar's base layer of information, or core information, comes from relationships that we have from the U.S. telco network. So this consists of names, addresses, phone numbers, email addresses, cell phone numbers, IP addresses, and most recently device IDs that we get in essentially real time from the U.S. telco network. So this builds the base layer of our data. So again, it's information on all 120 million U.S. households and 220 million U.S. individuals. So what we do next, we take that information and we layer on purchase data, loyalty card data, survey data, market research data, auto data, finance data, you name it, we have it under the hood. Take all of that information, layer it on to the information we get from the U.S. telco network to build out a full profile of a household. So now we know if folks are more likely to shop at Bloomingdale's or Macy's, or drive a BMW or a Honda, or go golfing or kayaking on the weekends, or whatever the case may be. Next slide. So what this results in, again, is 16,000 plus offline behavioral audiences that span various verticals. So these are, verticals such as CPG, retail, auto, finance, telco, demographics. The list is really endless with 16,000 plus audiences. So now I'm going to hand it over to Lauren, who's going to give us a little bit more of a granular view into data we have in audience categories, as well as a demo of our audience planner UI.
All right, thanks, Michael. So as Michael noted, we have around 16,000 audiences available, where you can either select singular audiences or combine multiple audiences together to create your own custom audiences. Just wanted to highlight some of the categories that we have available. So first, looking at CPG. So we have tons of audiences related to cleaning products, also toiletry items, and also groceries. and also highlighting some index information that you'll see noted below. We'll go into that and describe how we're calculating those index numbers within the audience planner. But just to give you, kind of a sneak peek into the types of data that you can expect to see within our audience planner. Also, looking at retail, so let me go back. Looking at retail, so we have tons of audiences related to home improvement, drugstores, retail and department stores, and also supermarkets and food stores. Also, demographic data is a really strong suit of ours. So we have data spanning employment, presence of children in the households, education levels, as well as audiences related to politics and voting. And next, I really want to highlight our new business offering, which is now available within the Lotame platform. So we recently released audiences for government, company size, as well as industry. And we're also working on, very shortly, to be implementing audiences related to job function as well as seniority level. So stay tuned for those audiences to come in the very near future. Now, how to show you how you can access our data within the Lotame platform. So you can find our Neustar library available under the branded data set. So just to scroll in, so if you wanted to look at all the various categories, here we're looking at how you can access our demographic data and how you can drill down into the subcategories that we have available. All right, so now we're going to take a deep dive into our audience planner. So this is a tool where you can access our full library of our 16,000 audience profiles. So this would be where you can come to find full access to our suite. This is going to allow you to customize audiences. You can also export audiences, share them with your colleagues as you're planning campaigns. And it's also going to allow you to forecast directional scale that you can expect to see within Lotame. All right, so now we're going to actually head over into a live demo.
Just 1 second while we get it set up.
All right, so here we're displaying our audience planner, which is available within our Platform One portal. The URL to access this planning dashboard is by logging into platform1.neustar.biz. And upon logging in, you'll be taken to this audience planning dashboard. So right here, you'll see all the various categories where we're bucketing all 16,000 of our audience profiles. So this will allow you to either pull a singular profile to use for a campaign, or you can combine multiple audience profiles together to create your own custom audience. But we also make it very simple. Rather than going into each category and drilling down from there, we have the search tab. It acts very similar to a Google search engine where you can enter in any term that you're looking for, and what that will then do is populate all the audience profiles that relate to that given term. So now that we're heading into the holiday season, what we're going to use as an example is home good audiences. So I'll first, we can look at Bed Bath & Beyond. I'll pull that up. Oh, let me just refresh. All right, so here we have Bed Bath & Beyond. So you can see that we have tons of audience profiles related to Bed Bath & Beyond. So I'm going to go ahead and stick to the most general. We have various time frames available here, whether you're looking at the last 3 months, last 4 weeks. So let's go ahead and select shopped at Bed Bath & Beyond in the last 3 months. So once we go into this audience profile, we're looking at more granular information. So by default, our audience planner pretty much knows the perfect balance between scale and index. So what that's going to do is it's going to pull in the top 10 to 15% of households that index highest according to this behavior of shopping at Bed Bath & Beyond. So when we have this threshold set to 12%, this particular instance, that's equating to just about 13.8 million offline U.S. households that have the propensity to be targeted. You can also modify this as needed. So say, for instance, you really wanted to hone in on a really strong index for this particular campaign, you can move the toggle accordingly. So you'll see as we moved the needle there, our index score went up, but our scale went down slightly. You can also do the inverse. So if you wanted to bring in more households, you could adjust the toggle accordingly, and the planner will then update with that information. But for the most part, I recommend sticking with the scale and the index that is defaulted within the planner, just because it's ensuring that perfect balance between the scale and the index. All right, so scrolling down a bit further, it's also returning back a demographic snapshot. So we can see the demographic indicators that are making up this audience. So we have average age of the head of households. We see middle age, very affluent income. 81% of households own their home. 17% have children. 65% are married. And they're living in low to suburban types of environments. Also, scrolling down a bit further, you will find the segments that will unlock this audience. So they range in order from highest indexing all the way down to lowest indexing. In total, we have 172 segments. These are groupings of like-minded households. They share similar demographic and attitudinal behaviors, so we're clustering them together into like-minded groupings.
And then, Lauren, just to add one thing in there, and Star, feel free to correct me if this is wrong, but in the case of, when publishers are logging into your platform, automatically they have access to our pre-built audience list of 2,500 audiences, and then by special request, they can reach out to get access to our 172 segments or elements, which you use this tool in combination with. So if that's a need from a publisher perspective, feel free to reach out to Lauren and myself, and we can get that set up with the Lotame team.
And Michael, you are correct. They have access to your pre-built segments in the hierarchies, and then also if they go into the My Lotame community, they can get access to contact information for you on how to get into the Neustar planner.
Great.
All right, great, thank you. All right, so also within this planner, you have the ability to drill down deeper into the segments just to get a better understanding of what they actually mean. So if we wanted to take a look at segment 49, we see it's the highest indexing segment for this particular audience. We can go within segment 49, and we'll get additional information here. So we see that households that are within segment 49, we see that they're high income, they're living in urban environments, they're middle-aged homeowners, and they may or may not have children present within the household. This is a great way to get just further intelligence into your audience. You're going to be able to see what other behaviors they index highest for. So within this tool, we're displaying the top 10 behaviors that rank the highest within each category. So I'll just kind of scroll down the list just so you can get some insight into the various stats that you'll see listed here. All right, so I'm going to go back into our audience now, And I'll point out some additional things that you can do within this section here. So you'll see this icon here. This is the PDF icon. What that will do is it's going to export exactly what you see on the screen into a PDF form. So you can take that, you can share it internally, or you can share it with a client just to get better understanding as to what is encompassing this audience. Also, by selecting this plus sign, this will allow you to continue further customizing an audience. So for this example, I'm also going to layer on an additional audience profile to show you how you can customize. So within here, you can give this audience a name. Let's say we'll call this holiday shopping. You can also bucket this under a particular advertiser. So let's say the advertiser here is Bed Bath & Beyond. You can create Bed Bath & Beyond as an advertiser, and you can bucket all of your audiences into the appropriate advertiser just to make it easier to locate those audiences in the future. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and minimize this for now just to make it a bit easier to look at. We're going to go back into the Explore tab. We're going to layer on an additional audience. So sticking with the home good retail theme, let's go ahead and pull up IKEA. All right, so we have a few audiences related to IKEA. Again, if you wanted to stick with shopping at IKEA in the last 3 months, we can go into this audience, and again, we'll get more granular information. We'll get a sense of the scale associated with this audience. I'm going to go ahead and select the plus sign again here. So now we have both of these audiences now within this audience builder section. One thing to note here is that the Boolean logic statement is set to an OR statement. However, you do have the ability to modify that within this tool. So say, by selecting the plus filtering group, then it expands to where you can modify this to either be an AND statement or an exclusion type of statement. But we'll keep this set to an OR statement for the purposes of this demo. So to further merge these two audiences together, I'm going to go ahead and press Save. So now we see the total scale associated with this custom audience. There's just about 22 million offline U.S. households that have the propensity to be reached. You can also modify this audience as needed. So say you wanted to adjust the reach for each of these audiences, you could do so right within here. Also wanted to point out that we do have the ability to also layer on demographic filters. So say one of the criteria for this campaign was to target a very affluent demographic. What we could then do is go into this Edit Filter section. We could select New Filter, then Income. And let's say we want to adjust the income to be set around $80K and above. So then what we're doing is we're removing all households that don't fit within this income bracket that we have selected here. And then from there, we can just apply our changes. So now we see our scale went from just around 22 million now down to 17 million with those changes reflected. And then lastly, as we scroll down, you'll see the segments that are the building blocks to unlock this IKEA and Bed Bath & Beyond audience. So any questions, with the audience planner, please feel free to reach out to either Star, Michael, or myself, and we're more than happy to help you create custom audiences or supply you with any recommendations for your campaign needs.
Thanks, Lauren. Scroll back. Right. And I think that pretty much sums it up for the Neustar offering. So I'll just put our contact information on the screen, but feel free to reach out to Lauren and I with any questions. We're happy to provide logins to the Audience Planner tool to use in combination with the Lotame DMP. So thanks everyone for joining, and we're glad to have you on.
Michael, thank you so much. Michael, thank you so much, and Lawrence, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to present this awesome offering in the Lotame platform about how to use your customized audience builder. And we're also really excited that we've just recently announced and released the business and mobile subscribing offerings. So please look for that in the Lotame Audience Builder, which are new offerings that are just been released this month. So they would be great offerings for any of your media buying. And also, if you have any other questions, please feel to reach out to me at star@lotame.com or reach out to your client success person who will be able to help you with any questions you may have about Neustar data. Well, thanks again so much, everyone, for taking time out of the day to learn more about Neustar and their offerings, and I look forward to talking to you again in the future soon.
Thanks, everyone.